Greetings, fellow Romans. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of a new series covering Romestead. If you would like to skip the game's overview or the intro cinematic, please use YouTube chapters. Romestead is a colony-building adventure RPG where you set off into the untamed wilderness to build a new Roman city after the fall of Rome. Calamity beset Rome, and it fell to swarms of undead. So you're tasked with constructing a new city ready to take on the challenges of a post-collapse wars against the undead and other mythical creatures and monsters. For this series, I'll be playing single player as a Mechanicus. When you create a new character, you just pick something to start with a few extra skills. So Mechanicus has construction skill, and it is on a standard size map with a random seed. Before I get going, I'm going to reboot the game so you can see the intro cinematic, so just give me a moment.
Rome. The greatest empire ever known, favored by the gods, empowered by your worship. But it was not to last. Rome burned. We were betrayed. Our temples razed. Without worship, we were lost. Without us, the empire crumbled. Each night, the fallen haunt the ruins, yet hope still burns. Reunite the survivors. Rebuild the altars. Restore the glory of Rome.
So, I've already created a character and a server, and we're just going to jump straight into it. I reset all the tutorials and all of the progress, so I'm starting from 0. So here it is. To craft your first set of tools, you will need flint shards. Pick up some flint with spacebar and throw it using left mouse button on a rock to generate some shards. Flint is usually found near pools of water. So the map is randomly generated, so I don't actually know where pools of water is, but oh, there's some right over here. So you hit spacebar to pick up the flint rock, and you can throw it at another rock to break off pieces of it. And later on, once you have a mining pick, you can skip that step. Okay, done. You will also need wood sticks, which can be acquired by destroying bushes or skinny trees. They can be acquired by throwing objects into large trees. So you can take a rock like this one, and yuck it into a larger tree if you want. Or you can just punch bash smaller trees. But the bigger trees require an axe to bring down. They will not be brought down with, with your fists. Use the sticks and flint shards to craft tools and weapons. The player crafting menu can be found in the inventory view, which is tab. Equip items with right mouse button, or by dragging and dropping the item into the correct equipment slot. So make a pickaxe, lumber axe, and main hand weapon. So here's the pickaxe, crafting 1, and we can just drop it into the pickaxe slot. A flint axe, drop it into the axe slot. And I don't have enough flint shards for the gladius. I was planning on going swords for this series. So there is the gladius, dropped into the slot. With the lumber axe equipped, your attacks can damage trees based on your lumber axe power. So my lumber axe power is 5, my pick power is also 5. Chop down a large tree by attacking it, place one of the logs on top of its stump, and chop it to produce wood planks. So attacking the tree will automatically use the axe, not your sword. It's contextual. You pick up one of the lumber, and then you hit spacebar to pick it up, and then spacebar to place it down. In this case, I placed it down on the stump, and then you hit E. Oh, fell into the water. And then you pick up planks. And I'll do that twice. Craft a workbench. Place the workbench on the ground to start constructing your town. Place objects in the world. You can either place them on your hotbar or right mouse button to place them in the world once you're happy with their location. So the workbench here requires a few more sticks. There we go. And we can craft it. And either I can right-click on it to place it on the ground like this, or we can hotbar it, but I'm just going to right-click it on the ground. In fact, I have 2 of them, because I guess you start with one, because of my Mechanicus start. But whatever, it doesn't matter. Town, core, and altar. In order to start crafting items, you need to create a town. Interact with the workbench to get it started. I am not going to be doing this right now, because I'm going to talk briefly about where a town should be placed. Scout a town location. So in this game, there are multiple biomes, and in order to save myself some effort late game, I would like to settle a biome or settle near the confluence of multiple biomes, because I think that's ultimately going to help me progress quickly or more naturally. And this is something that you would know after having played before, which I have. So hitting N, as in November, you can open up the map here. And despite the fact that the map is mostly procedurally generated, when you start, you'll have a quest giver here and a road. And if you follow this road ought to take you into other biomes. So there are multiple biomes in the game, and depending on the biome that you're in, you can get different resources. So being at the edge of multiple biomes is really in your benefit. So this is a plains biome here. If we open it up, this is plains, and this is forest. And what I'm wanting to scout out is to find the edge of multiple biomes, and potentially being near other precious resources like clay and water. And I'm not going to be engaging these enemies because I'm just looking for a place to sort of start the game. And I wanted to run down this road here in order to try to scout out what I would consider, personally at least, my opinion, an ideal start location. So as you can see, the forest ended, I'm back into plains, and I'm just continuing to run down this road towards other biomes. And then once I see the edge of multiple biomes together, I'll start scouting around for decent locations near there. And this is just a personal preference. Now, it will make me somewhat far away from my initial quests, but I think in the long run it will pay dividends. We're back in the forest biome. I'm also virtually ignoring all of the things to pick up because I don't necessarily want to burden myself with a whole bunch of inventory. I'm going to be following the tutorial. I just don't want to start a town that I don't want to live in in the long run. With that said, you can have multiple towns in this game, even on single player. And here we go. So this is... I should not be going too far. This is another biome here. This is the desert biome. And I don't want to be going too far because they're way over leveled compared to me. So now we have found plains, forest, and desert pretty on top of one another. And then the next step I would say is to... We have water, so that's not an issue. But see if there's a source of clay nearby. And here we go. We have a clay pit right there. It doesn't need to be enormous. You can create a clay pit later on in the game anywhere, even if you don't have a source of clay. It just won't work very efficiently. But if you have enough of them, they can replace the fact that you lack clay as a natural resource. But I'd rather just have a clay pit. And I'm not going to settle on the first clay node that I find. The other thing to consider is any natural geography bottlenecks. Because, you have to defend your town from monsters, and the monsters attack typically at night, but they can somewhat bother you during the day, and having like natural walls and pools, because the monsters cannot swim and they cannot climb over the sort of like plateau areas, as you can see here. You can also think about trying to find a spot that would allow you to min-max your defense, like try to find a very defensible location. Now, it's important to note that the cities that you end up building are going to be really large and expansive, so you're going to cover a pretty big swath of territory ultimately. So just keep that in mind, that you know, it's towns are in the order of dozens of buildings later game, and you should have space, ample space to expand into. I suppose I could settle somewhere around that clay pit. Oh, that's a lot of wolves. These satyrs are not likely to leave me be. Either. Now, settling near the desert comes with advantages in that I will have desert resources available to me closer, but the desert's also much, much harder. It's the difficulty curve once you go into the desert is very steep. So it might not be a good beginner place to try to settle. As you can see, I'm like getting murdered here pretty soundly. In fact, I might end up I might die because of the bushes here. Getting blocked in. I was also looking to see if there was there's one more biome that I'd be interested in. Oh god, those are really nasty enemies to fight. Yeah, I don't want to be here. Which is like volcanic biome. And there's some advantages to the volcanic biome, so I was kind of hoping to be able to settle near or around the volcanic biome, but it doesn't seem possible. Why are the wolves working for this satyr? What gives? You're not on the satyr's team? Get out of here. Don't mind me, I'm just trying to eat to survive. Yeah, I'm not winning that fight there. Let's walk on back to where I was and keep looking. I don't have time. Whoa, don't shoot me. Another thing I ought to be doing is like picking up all the food I possibly can, because I'm getting my butt kicked and I don't have a lot of replacement food. Like the olives that I can pick up off of trees and stuff like that. So yeah, I think I am going to pull the trigger and settle around here. So let's go ahead and put the workbench down in just a second. And I will make the decision that this swath of land is now mine. I did lure the wolves away. That's good. Okay, this guy is straight up gonna kill me. So putting the workbench down, I'll just plop it here. We are going to then go to the construction mode. And you access the construction mode where you are no longer tethered to your character and allows you to sort of lay out your city. So the town core is where the center of your town is going to be. And as you can see, when I pan around, I can see at the moment it's plains, right? It's reading as plains. And if I went far enough west, it'd be forest. And far enough east, it would be desert, because we're sort of at the center point of all those. I just wanted to demonstrate that really quickly, that I am indeed on the boundary. Which is easy to do. Should be. As long as the enemies allow me to survive a second. So here, desert, as you can see, it's written right over the flag. So we're right at the boundary of desert and plains. Okay. This spot seems as good as any. The color of the terrain doesn't really much matter as far as farming goes. The things that affect farming is how close you are to like a source of water until you get like wells and stuff like that later on. And then also the other thing that affects farming is the biome that you're on, and that is it. So we'll drop the town core there. In order to build the town core, we have to feed it wood and stone. So we're going to need to cut down a tree. This is an olive tree, which only gives 1 lumber, but it will be enough for the town core at least. And then you just hit E as a quick time event in order to get it built. There we go. This is our town core. It has no citizens, it has no defenses, and I'll call it radius or something. Alright, next it wants us to build an altar. An altar is how you talk to the gods. An altar is basically the thing that gives you quests, so rather important to build one. I'll plop it there, and this needs 3 stone. All right, let's get our little impid friend away. Now, one of the things that the game offers is enemies will not spawn near your buildings. So if you have a cohesive enough city where all of the buildings are within like 16 tiles of one another, there won't be a safe spawn zone within it for enemies to spawn. You approach the altar with your inventory ready. So normally you would give offerings to the gods, these gods up here. But we're just going to continue the tutorial for now. So the current priority is follow the tutorial. You have founded your first city. In order to start crafting items or gather resources automatically, you need citizens to move in. Build housing for citizens before heading out. As you explore, you will find survivors who can be recruited to your town. Do not forget to build defenses in order to protect your town from threats. Citizens can be assigned to various different jobs, and they will level up in those professions. Be careful, citizens can starve or die, so make sure they're well taken care of. So we are going to build a leatherworker, a house, a food storage, and then also probably a insula as well. So let's get that going. First we'll put in the leatherworker, and I'm just going to nest it over here, let's say. Here's a good spot. And then next to the leatherworker, I'm going to have an empty house. And I'll plop that there. And then I'm going to go and create like a 2-wide road here, which I don't necessarily need to build right now. It's just like for future reference, so that things are on a slightly more grid system, laid out nicely and the like. If you hit R, it allows you to break furniture, allowing me to like pick up my workbench and put it back down. So there's a house and a leatherworker for the citizens to live in and work in. And the red X's here are the things that are blocking the construction site. So we're gonna have to cut down some trees and some stumps and some wheat and whatnot in order to free up the spot. Okay, so let's focus. Man, I keep adjusting the sound. Let's focus on the tutorial. And if you have questions about what happens later in the game, I'll get there when I get there. So getting ahead of me is essentially asking for spoilers. So the leatherworker needs 5 wood, 5 stone. So I'm just collecting the stone first. The entire area around here eventually is going to need to be land cleared if we want to actually build a city. So even though a lot of these trees are low or no yield, I'm still going to cut them down because they're eventually going to be in the way of any other buildings that we add. Another thing to note is as you use your skills, like if you cut down a tree with an axe, you will level up your axe skill, you know, swords, throwing, bows, scrolls, construction. They all have related skills. And you get better with those things over time. Hey, Brian, thank you for the 3-sub. And then the house is 2 and 2, so 5 and 5, 2 and 2 is the resources we need. I'm just going to borrow the wood over here and get the leatherworker first. There we go. That is the leatherworker. And in here, you can queue up, if there was a citizens assigned to this workplace, you would be able to queue them up for production. And they also have their own storage. So I could, if I wanted to, right-click the leather that I had on me and put it into the building storage, giving it to the future leatherworker that will work in here, so that they have access to leather to work on. Later on, you get you'll get access to like material storages and the like, and logistics to be able to automate more of this stuff. But early on, we don't have access to that. Every morning, you'll get a daily town report, which is behind my head here, which indicates like what happened, if people leveled up, if people got hurt, if cities withstood the attacks from the undead. Because the undead, you will get attacked lightly throughout the day, but the undead mostly will push you and attack you at night. That's when they're active, and other enemies as well. There's other raid mechanics that become relevant later on. And here's a house. It doesn't have any furniture, but it is required for them to live in. That's all we really need to do for now. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is to add the food storage. Oh, you are stealing barrels. Don't do that. And I can also demonstrate the power of a wagon, too. Wagons are, in this game, amazing. Alright, so food storage is how you put food out for your citizens to eat. It's the food stockpile for not you. I'm probably going to farm near this water, more than likely. So maybe I'll put food storage... Well, it also makes sense to put food storage pretty near the altar. And I might end up moving this altar so it's more city aligned. So maybe that's what I'll do. So if you did want to destroy stuff, you can go to your construction workbench and demolish previous constructions to get the stuff back. I don't necessarily need to remove the town core, but if I wanted to move my altar, let's say I do, to put it here, so it's right next to the food storage, let's just get that done. The eagle is massive? Yep. Alright. The advantage of the wagon is it can hold 4 of any one type of resource. Well, 4 resources, I should say, not of a specific type. So if you're trying to move a lot of resources over a distance, wagons are the way to go, and also wagons can be hitched to other wagons, so you can have a train of wagons. I would like to play in such a way that I don't have to do a lot of the resource grinding myself, because I'm not that interested in doing all the resource grinding myself. But if you were to move a whole lot of resources over distance, wagons where it's at. And you can also make them from scratch. You don't have to find them. And there are higher level wagons that you unlock later on. And in this case, what I can do is I can park the wagon right on top of the food storage, and that makes the wood in the wagon available for construction. So I don't even necessarily need to take the wood out of the wagon. I just do it like this. It won't consume the wagon. The wagon will be nudged to the side once it's done. And there we go. We now have the food storage. Interacting with the food storage. Before bringing citizens into your town, you must provide a place for them to live, a food storage for them to eat, and a place for them to work, like the leatherworker. It's also recommended to construct an insula. So an insula is essentially like a refugee camp. So if you find people out in the wild and you want to offer them refuge in your city, but you don't yet have a place for them to work, you can build an insula and house them so that they can be employed later on. Because it's sometimes very annoying to have to return back to where you saw them first to subsequently recruit them. So an insula is a really wise idea. All right, so before we head out, I would like to maybe move my... I'll probably move the town flag more westward as we expand westward, because I don't need to claim all these, like, impassable mountains on the right. But I did want to build that insula first. So the insula is for jobless citizens, and we'll, let's see. It's not somewhere where we need to interact with frequently. I might just put it on the road here. That'll work. Let's get these barrels out of the way and go get some more trees. You can frequently find hidden chests if you know what to look for. Every biome has their own style of hidden chest. It's a great way to get a jump start on the equipment. Plus, you can actually just take the chest, which is a good way to store the stuff you don't want, or especially early on when there's no there's no concept of village storage until a little bit later. Oh, that was a good throw. Jeez. Come on. Spacebar puts it down, whereas like left click will throw it. And your dude can throw logs like Donkey Kong. Okay. Insula complete. I'm like, that's not what I meant to do at all. No, stop. I don't. There we go. All right. So let's go find a citizen to recruit. Citizens can be found typically at like points of interest. So this point of interest obviously doesn't have any, but heading to any point of interest on the map here, like the Twin Crypt, for instance, will have citizens, and you can also find them on the map, just like waiting to be talked to. They're not all the same. They have their own stats. They have their own traits. Some of them are, let's say, less than worth adding to your roster. But, I will wander around. Oh, yeah, don't hit me, please. I'll wander around until I find some. Okay, bears. Wow, I'm really in a... Where I settled is not for low levels, as I already explained, because I settled in kind of a more dangerous region. If you settle near where your initial site is, that will definitely be easiest, because you won't have like bears and higher level satyrs and an enchanted undead and stuff like that. So I'm just going to pop into this Twin Crypt here, and there's no people, so I'm going to pop out of it. There's multiple crypt styles. There's quest crypts, there's larger ones that are like layered, like dungeons, and then there are smaller ones. And the smaller ones will sometimes have people, like citizens, stuck in cages waiting to be rescued, but not always. So this is one of the like layered dungeons, the Abyss of Broken Promises, and I would not be able to clear that with my current equipment and the like. All right, I'm going to venture off the beaten path, looking for citizens. Oh wow, that's a lot of undead. Good lord. You know I'm just a lowly level 1. Hope that wall holds out. Ooh, an enchanted ring. This site also has a monster spawner. This thing is like making monsters. Down it goes. Way more effort than it's worth. So, health and attack power, nice. Alright. Cavern of Broken Bones. There should be someone in here. Hopefully they're a decent citizen to add. Yes, and there will be gallons and gallons and gallons of blood. Oh my god, my sword does no damage. Let's see. Anything else? I'll even take an energy potion. I am running out of things. Oh, well, I do have health potions. I'll put on my bar. Alright, this is a bomb. I'll throw it at the other bomb. Ooh. Another enchanted ring. For health. Nice. And attack power. Well, that'll help. Oh god, 2 monster spawners and a necromancer? Why? Why, dungeon, do you have to be like this? Well, I gained favor, which is essentially like leveling up, I suppose, from the effort. And we're slowly clearing it. And there is a person in that cage like I was hoping there would be. But this is certainly a more effortful way to get your first citizen. And they're probably going to be some like horrible negative trait with my luck. So, Priscilla. You don't have any negative traits, so I'm going to send you to the town. Tutorial completed. And I got some nature or knockback boots. Also got some copper ingots and lots of stuff to put on that altar. So, the next thing is queue up some work and interact with altar. So let's get back to our home. After knocking around some of these boxes, I'll even take that chest. And then go talk to Priscilla about what we want her to do as our new leatherworker. Albrag, thank you for the resub. So the black rocks are coal, which is a very handy fuel source to get. Yo, wolves, can you, like, leave me alone, please? Hey, Tumbling. Thank you for the raid, dude. Cheers. Give you a shout out in just a second when I'm not chased by half a Iditarod team. All right, good enough. Wow, my UI really does not want to shout you out. Ah, some 6 today. Well, this is like the micro version of Songs of 6. Like, Songs of 6 deals with citizens in the hundreds and thousands, and this is in the tens. Well, welcome. Pleasure to have you and your crew here. Anytime. Wife acquired? Nope. I'ma put her to work. That sounds awful. Alright, so we head over to the her workplace. And... oh wait, I swear to God, where'd you go, lady? No, you're not in the insula. So click on her, and I'm gonna drop her into the leatherworker now. And she moved into this house. She just automatically went to the insula. So now, here is what Priscilla can make. A leather hood, yes please. A leather armor, yes please. Leather sandals, yes please. And it will queue over time, and that will be my first set of gear. Alright, the other thing I wanted to do is to head over to the altar. So some items are entirely intended to be gifted to gods in the altar. So I put on random boots I picked up in the dungeon and gave my old sandals, and that made Vulcan, God of the Forge, happy. Because it was... oh god, I'm about to die. Alright, speaking about almost dying, I really should have a bed too. And it's nighttime, so the enemies are spawning a lot. Unfortunately, I don't have enough leather for the bedroll, so cancel the sandals, because I already have footwear, and make me a bedroll, please. Because the bedroll is how you would queue up where to respawn. So here we go, helmet on. The other thing to note is Priscilla. Unfortunately, I can't rename them, otherwise I'd raffle them to you guys. But she has a job level. She has expertise and efficiency, how fast she works, and the bonus when finishing work orders, because there can be special effects, you know, like special properties added to the armor that she makes. Inversely, it could have negative effects too. And then Priscilla also has her own happiness, and whether she's been fed, you know, whether she's loyal to us, her experience gain rate. There's a lot of stats that you can tinker with in order to keep your people happy. I'm also going to treat Priscilla's home like my own home. So I guess in a way she is kind of waifu now. But I'm going to put my seeds in there. Oh god. Phrasing. And I'll be keeping that stuff for later. Yes, true. These stuff does not count as food when consumed. It's food for me, not for them. So there's a food stat here. When consumed by a citizen, like 2 food. Hang on. Undead do not want to let me show you that. Oh god, why are you... okay, well, there goes that fire. Oh, I'll be inside here. Turtle time. So whether food counts for citizens or not is in the hotbar. So like foraged stuff often doesn't. Oh, can I please get a break? It's one of the issues of settling somewhere dangerous. I'll live with it. Oh, bear? No, I won't live with it. I will die with it. I'm gonna go run and get that bedroll before this bear makes me into bear crap. So the bedroll allows you to set a spawn point. There we go. No, it was valid. Come on. So now I've updated my spawn point to the bedroll. So if and when I die, more when, not if, I'll respawn there instead. All right, over in the altar, I'm going to offer up my civilian tunic, and Vulcan is happy. And the other thing that you'll note is as you gain God favor, you'll gain, there's multiple ways to level up. So there are favors, which is how your character levels up. So the first favors that we have here is construction hit area is increased and gives more progress, so you build faster. You mine faster, or you lumberjack faster. And I intend to be melee attack power, but like ultimately all three of these initial ones lend itself to melee attack power because of the way the favors like crisscross here. So I think what I'm going to do is do construction plan because I am a Mechanicus. I'm a builder, you know, in this series. So I'll pick that up. The other thing is these accessories are really only to put to the altar. So basic cargo and the fine accessories and the hand craft. These are just supposed to be offered to the gods. And we met Mercury and we met Venus. So we've met 3 out of 7 gods, or 3 out of 6 gods that you can make offerings to. Thank you for tuning in to Romestead, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. I'm not, however, looking for feedback or spoilers. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, fellow Romans.